we're born with a budding beauty called the emerging self, the sense of self. But if that gets frozen and you don't have that sense of self, it's suspended, and you don't feel it suspended, now since you don't have your sense of self, Kristen Wilson's line is, well, you're not going to make sense. You're not going to make sense if you don't have your sense of self. And it's disembodied. You feel disembodied. You don't make sense. And it's disembodied. Having sense is embodiment. So if you don't feel embodied, it's disembodied discourse that causes all these confusions and problems. Because you're just repeating, searching for symbols of matter to blip up happy chemicals to distract you from the pain that you're feeling. So you're manic, not making sense, always chasing, can't enjoy. It's just pain management, not making sense. Plus, you have these fantasies that one day by being dysfunctional in this hope mode, maybe one day, your dysfunction will mean you'll get mother's love in the past, because that part of the brain doesn't know time. But there is time, but that part of the brain driving this doesn't know time. That ghost doesn't know time. Okay, that traumatic memory, that encapsulated, disassociated, bubbled off, kind of sequestered kind of memory, has a kind of a force like that. Either people debate about either being partially repressed or disassociated or both and or either or, whatever it is, there's some kind of event that took place. People typically say, yeah, it's in the brain somewhere, but it's not in the body, so it's disassociated. But if it's in the body, it's repressed. The body keeps the score, the body remembers, but the brain's part of the body. This whole debate about how do we deal with amnesia, childhood amnesia, babyhood amnesia, early on trauma, how do we get it to a place where the ghost can be laid to rest, the feelings, we can feel safe to live and love in the present, be normal again. So if there's trauma so early on, we think it's survival. The feeling self is the golden ball, the embodiment, the capacity, the real self, live and love, heart and the body, okay, ethics, morality, virtue, and all the capacities of the real self, knowing your interest, having an eye to admit a loss. I felt the loss, there's an eye there. I feel joy, there's an eye there to feel the joy. Okay, you can make I statements. Okay, that happened, that reminded me that you can share intimacy, you can share your vulnerable side. You have an esteem to do so, you're willing to have that kind of image to share, because if you have an I to do so, you don't feel like you lose yourself, you're vulnerable, you can share yourself because you have a self to share. I make a mistake, well, I feel badly, you can share how you made a mistake, you feel badly, and you can specify in kind of with integrity, these things I did, I feel badly about it, I want to share all that, I feel badly, that's considered an apology, I won't do it again, kind of thing. So apology is there. Gratitude is a major common feeling, kind of warm feeling of living with gratitude all the time, because you have the great spirit makes everyone unique, and you're aware of it with your eye. There's a real inherent gratitude of the joy of having your uniqueness. The odds of any person being here are 1 in 400 trillion, somebody said. So it's kind of unique like that. Nature's greatest miracle, everyone's unique like that. So there's a kind of inherent pleasure to, that's kind of missing with trauma.